Hi there, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Badfiction. I'm Ollie Francis. Thank you for joining me. If for some reason you'd rather read than listen, you can get a text version of this story by signing up at olliefrancis.co.uk, and you'll get a copy delivered straight to your inbox. If you'd enjoy this story, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/OllieFrancis, or you can become a regular supporter on Patreon, where supporters will soon be able to listen to a version of this podcast without this little bit at the start with me begging you for support. If you're getting tired of it already, why not hop on over and sign up? It will give me that warm, fuzzy feeling to know that you care. And don't forget to leave me a comment wherever you find this podcast. I want to get better at this, so let me know how I'm doing. As for now, it's time to get started. So, settle down, because this is Bad Fiction. Renovation. They took out my fireplace today. Ripped it from my walls like they were picking a scab. They're going to put it on eBay. For sale, family hearth, rarely used. It was filthy, but they washed it down by the rose bed until it shone like the day it was fitted. The most beautiful fire surround you'll ever see. Or not. Looking back now, I suppose it was rather plain. Either way, the point is it was mine, and now it's not. Now it's going to be transplanted elsewhere, and there's a stonking great hole where there was once a heart. And I'll tell you a secret, it hurt deeply. Every moment of it. The stabbing of the crowbar as they rammed it into my softer parts, the crack as my plasterwork split and decades of debris tumbled out onto their dust sheet. Utterly brutal, like gutting a fish. It wasn't just the process of prying it free that hurt, though. It was the rejection. They bought me, knowing full well what they were getting, and then they go and start smashing the place up like they're ready to scrap the whole thing. Every day it gets worse. Muck creeps deeper into all my crevices, and the cracks between my open planks are clogged with grit I didn't even know I had. I dream of vacuum cleaners. Sometimes I overhear them talking about what they plan to do with me as they huddle in the kitchen cradling their cups of tea poured from a thermos. I interrupt. All I needed was a lick of paint, I tell them. Fresh carpets would have been enough. Even now they could get me up to scratch for a fraction of the price without doing all this. Big picture thinking isn't what it's cracked up to be, I tell them. But they don't listen. All they hear is the creak of floorboards and a rat in the drywall. Next day they bring in the exterminators. I don't think we're speaking the same language. They want to carve out my insides, scrape my soul back to brick, pull my walls down to let in some of that damned light that I've been trying so damn hard to keep out. It's impossible. They want straight angles. They want silver-backed insulation. They want to plug holes and stop me from breathing. The whole thing is violence. They're ready to break my bones with their sledgehammer plans. I would tremble if I could. I know why they're doing it. Too much time spent on Pinterest. Too many boards filled with rooms that don't fit into my dimensions. She has a vision of some other house, and she's gone and landed herself with me, and now it's his job to make it all work. But he's taken it too far, you see. He's bitten off more than he can chew. He thinks that by ripping down my walls, he can plaster over the cracks in theirs. Because any fool and his dog can see that these two are going to age like a flat-pack kitchen. Some things aren't meant to last, and these two are about as strong as wet cardboard. They'll fall apart in months. He's set on the project now, though. Laser focus. Every inch of me measured and blueprinted. Let me tell you, there is no room for deviation in his plans. I'd say steamroller, but this is much, much worse. I give them 5 years, tops, maybe 6, depending on how easy I make it for them. And I don't plan to make it easy, not one bit. They want to do the kitchen first, so I show them all my damp bits straight away. I know, a bit personal, but I say go hard or go home. I flake a little near where they're stood yakking, drop a little bit of loose paint into the thermos, plop, That gets them going. They scratch at the wall trying to work out how bad it is, and my God, I show them how bad I can be. Over the next week, I draw water up through my cavity wall like a straw. I send the wet bubbling through my brickwork, searing through my plaster like lava. It's thoroughly awful of me. Salt coats my walls like frost in winter. He even runs his finger against it one day and licks the tip, pretending he knows what he's doing, as though he might season his soup with a dusting of magnesium sulfate. He's an idiot, but somehow she falls for it, and then he's spewing forth action plans about how they might fix it while she's Googling creative solutions. They check my damp course, but there's nothing wrong with it. Guttering's fine as well. They even get a specialist in for a survey, which comes back with the beautifully helpful line, "There is damp present in the kitchen area," without offering any solutions. It's brilliant. They bicker about that for hours. I let them replaster and wait a week or two to let them think they've got me. Then I start pumping the stuff out again. Paint peels like wallpaper, even the specialist stuff made for kitchens. I set blisters popping like the plague, great chunks tumbling to the tiles every day until they are unable to keep any of their awful food on the side anymore and have to pack it away into cupboards where it moulds away in the dark and becomes inedible within a day. I am unstoppable. Then it's time to turn to the bathroom, where I hide my pipework in all the most annoying of places. I even managed to sneak one in behind a board already soft with rot. The carpenter catches the edge of the thing and it bursts open and drowns the place in the most penetrating of lukewarm waters I can muster. It drives them crazy. They're ready to crumble. Any little thing starts an argument. Late deliveries, misplaced furniture, even leaving the TV remote in the wrong place because they have a TV now. I avoided it for years before the old dear died, but I suppose it's inevitable these days, and so now they've gone and stuck one up in the living room, flat screen, one of those ones that looks like a picture frame when they're not watching it. To be fair, it's probably the least offensive thing they've done so far. They change the image on it every couple of days. Adds a bit of variety, I suppose. Keeps it fresh. But the rest of the place is as ghastly as they are. They have this hideous passion for dark colours. They have this hideous preference for dark colours. Place looks like a cellar, even with the lights on. No idea how they can read in that light, because, sweet mercy, they are always reading. Books everywhere. Put up a couple of new bookcases to house them all. When they first dragged in the boxes, I thought they were joking, but they somehow found space. Every single nook. It's the only time they're quiet, actually, when they're reading. The leak in the roof's gone. When do they get around to that? On Tuesday, I crack a window side to side like bad luck. By the next Monday, they have the double glazers in. I tried to get in their way, but these guys are professionals. Even with all my organic angles, they get the frames in place before the rain sets in. At least they're not using cowboys. They're getting better at this. They have friends over for a housewarming, so I make sure the boiler's out of action. The place is stone cold by early evening, and it's too late to call it off. They think about plugging in a couple of portable heaters, so I clog the toilet for good measure, and by then everyone is arriving. It's majestic. Honestly, couples stand around shivering in their coats, full of shit. But they start to laugh and joke about it, the whole lot of them, and even I can't do anything against that much hot air. They warm themselves with whiskey until, good grief, they open all the doors to cool down, and I'm just about ready to give up. They still argue after, the two of them. Who gets to do the washing up? Who has to unclog the loo? Honestly, they're not going to last. No way. The new fireplace is fitted now. A modern one, electric. No soot, no risk of gas. I don't know. I don't like it, but it's better than nothing. At least they're doing something to repair the damage. Now, don't think they're starting to win me round. No chance. If they can't love me for who I am, then they don't deserve any respite. I'm not letting up. Not slowing down. I've got plans, bigger than theirs. They're busy trying to make me something I'm not, but they can't scratch the surface of what I've got in store for them. Still, it is actually quite a nice fireplace. Not the same classic design as the old one, but it does seem good quality. I'll give them that. He'll certainly outlast them. They're doomed to failure, as always. She's starting to mellow a little, though. Starting to come to terms with the fact that what she's got with me is what she's got. And as for him, well, he's kind of the same, really. Still poking at everything he can, trying to figure out all my mysteries. He'll never learn that what I've got is fathomless. He'll still be thinking about my angles on his deathbed. That's a pity, really. I mean, I can see that they are both nice enough on their own, but it's the combo of them that is exhausting. One feeds off the other in some unending cycle of nothing. Ugh, it must be truly awful being them. Almost makes me feel sorry for them. I'm thinking about falling down entirely, crushing them both. A proper disaster of an ending for it all. I could. I think it would be easy, pretty much. I've done a lot of structural work, steel beams and additional supports, but I think I could get around it all, find some cracks somewhere and just open up. Could be a killer ending for the whole thing. I don't know. I'll think about it. They're away this week anyway. Gone off on holiday. Don't know where. Don't care. They can do what they want, where they want, as far as I'm concerned. In fact, I'd be perfectly happy if they never came back, stay away forever, found some other place to live. Still, no point in collapsing if they're not even here. I think I'll wait until they come back. Lull them into a false sense of security. Give them a lovely moment of coming home to a place they know is theirs and theirs alone, and then splat. Yeah. Although maybe not at first, they'll need to unpack. And there's bound to be a load of washing for them to get through as well. And, to be fair, work's been a bit crazy for both of them of late. Maybe I should give them a week or so before I start the bricks moving. Really make them think everything's going to be alright before I end it all. Serve them right. And all that. It's quite cold without them, really. Heating's on minimum, just to stop the pipes from freezing. Ooh. It shouldn't bother me, I know. I'm as cold-blooded as they come. Still, I hope they come back soon. Not that I miss them, not like that. It's just, now they've been around for a little while, you start to get used to it. And so when they're not here, well, cold is cold, and that's all very well, but more and more I'm starting to think the place could do with a little bit of warmth in it. You know? You've been listening to Badfiction. To find out more, visit olliefrancis.co.uk. And I'll see you back here soon for more Badfiction.